What does it take to change the course of history and rewrite the laws of the universe? Imagine a man whose mind not only changed the rules of physics, but also challenged the very nature of thought itself. From a childhood filled with challenges to becoming the face of genius, Albert Einstein taught us that great ideas are born when we dare to see the world differently. How did this man, who faced academic failure and uncertainty, leave such a profound legacy in science and humanity? Today, on True Impact Makers, we explore how his insatiable curiosity, resilience in the face of adversity, and commitment to a greater purpose inspire us to reimagine what's possible. This is not just a story of scientific achievements. It's a guide for those who dare to push boundaries and change the world. But what made Einstein an icon wasn't just his accomplishments. It was something much deeper. What truly set him apart? Let's find out together. Albert Einstein was born on March 14, 1879, in Ulm, Germany, into a working-class Jewish family. From an early age, he showed an introspective and curious character. His father, Hermann, was an engineer, and his mother, Pauline, a talented pianist who instilled in Albert a deep love for music. Although the Einstein household faced economic challenges, conversations about science, art, and culture sparked Albert's passion for exploring the world from different perspectives. When Albert was 1 year old, the family moved to Munich, where Hermann Einstein started an electrochemical business, seeking better opportunities in a booming industrial city. However, financial difficulties persisted, leaving a mark on Albert's early years and his perception of economic stability. His childhood was not easy. Albert developed more slowly than other children. He didn't speak fluently until he was 3 years old. At school, his reserved behavior led his teachers to label him a slow and unpromising student in a rigid educational system. But everything changed when, at the age of 5, his father gave him a compass. The small needle that always pointed north puzzled him. What invisible force guides this? He wondered. That moment ignited a lifelong obsession with understanding the inexplicable. At home, Albert also found refuge in music. Influenced by his mother, he began playing the violin at an early age. Although he initially did so out of obligation, he later discovered that music was an emotional escape and a source of inspiration. He played pieces by Mozart and Bach, describing them as a spiritual dialogue. Later, Einstein would note that music not only calmed his mind but also influenced his ability to solve complex problems. When I am thinking about a difficult idea, I often pick up my violin and play until the answers begin to come. Through the pages of scientific texts, the notes of his violin, and his boundless imagination, Albert began to discover that questions were more powerful than answers. But what truly set Einstein apart from an early age wasn't just his interests. It was something deeper, an insatiable curiosity that drove him to question what others took for granted. How did he transform that curiosity into the spark that changed the world? As Albert Einstein grew up, it became evident that his way of learning did not fit the traditional education system. The family moved to Munich, where Albert attended the Gymnasium Luitpold, a school that prioritized memorization and mechanical learning over creative exploration. For a young Einstein, who preferred asking questions and deeply understanding the why of things, this methodology was stifling. In class, Albert felt trapped by rigid discipline and the lack of room for imagination. His rebellious mind, always seeking to question and explore beyond the obvious, caused clashes with his teachers. Some even called him disrespectful for his constant questioning. One teacher went so far as to say, "You will never amount to anything in life." But what others interpreted as disinterest or rebellion was actually an early sign of his nonconformist character. The pressure of the education system and the family's financial problems also took a toll. In 1894, his father's electrochemical business in Munich failed, forcing the family to move to Milan, Italy, in search of new opportunities. At just 15 years old, Albert stayed behind to finish the school year. However, the isolation from his family and frustration with the education system led him to make a bold decision. He left school without graduating, citing health problems. Far from being a failure, his decision to from there, he prepared his application to the prestigious Swiss Federal Polytechnic School in Zurich, hoping to find an environment more suited to his restless mind. In 1895, Einstein took the entrance exam but failed to pass. His strengths in mathematics and physics were exceptional, but he struggled with general subjects like languages and literature. This defeat could have been devastating, but instead of becoming discouraged, Einstein studied diligently with the help of a tutor. A year later, in 1896, he was admitted to the Polytechnic. Additionally, he formally renounced his German citizenship, avoiding military service and reaffirming his independence. These events marked a turning point in his life and reflect a powerful lesson. When one path seems closed, it is possible to find new routes forward. After graduating from the Swiss Federal Polytechnic School in 1900, Albert Einstein faced a harsh reality. He was unable to secure an immediate academic position, something he considered essential for advancing his career as a physicist. This rejection from academia could have discouraged him, but instead of giving up, Einstein sought a job that would allow him to support himself while continuing to pursue his scientific interests. In 1902, he secured a position as a technical assistant at the Federal Patent Office in Bern, Switzerland. At first glance, this job seemed like a step back for someone with a degree in physics and mathematics. However, the patent office turned out to be the perfect place to nurture his creativity and intellectual independence. In his role, Einstein reviewed and evaluated patent applications from inventors across Europe. This work required him to analyze electromagnetic devices, mechanical systems, and other technological concepts. Day after day, he had to separate the essential from the trivial, identify patterns, and understand the feasibility of the ideas presented. This seemingly mundane exercise was invaluable training for sharpening his logical thinking and structuring his mind to solve complex problems. What made this period unique was the freedom it gave him to reflect. He dedicated his afternoons and evenings to his own research, exploring fundamental questions about the nature of time, light, and space. During these hours, Einstein began to develop revolutionary ideas that would later change physics forever. Life in Bern was also significant in other ways. In 1903, he married Mileva Maric, a fellow student at the Polytechnic and a brilliant mathematician. They shared a deep interest in science, and Mileva played an important role as a collaborator in some of his early works. However, their relationship would face challenges in the following years, marked by the tensions of daily life and Albert's growing focus on his work. Einstein often met with a small group of intellectual friends in an informal club called the Olympia Academy. In these gatherings, they discussed philosophy, science, and literature, creating an environment that stimulated critical thinking and the exchange of ideas. Far from being a setback, this period at the patent office was a springboard for Einstein's creativity. The combination of his work responsibilities, Mileva's support, and discussions with his friends provided fertile ground for Einstein to begin formulating the questions that would change the course of science. What seemed like a simple office job became the training ground for one of humanity's greatest geniuses. But could Einstein have imagined then that his next step would change how we understand the universe? What would you do if you knew you were about to make history? In 1905, while working at the patent office and living a relatively modest life in Bern, Albert Einstein experienced what would become the most productive and transformative year of his scientific career. Known as his Annus Mirabilis, or Year of Miracles, this period marked a turning point in the history of physics and in our understanding of the universe. That year, Einstein published 4 groundbreaking papers in the journal Annalen der Physik, each a revolutionary contribution that cemented his place as one of the greatest thinkers of all time. But beyond their theoretical impact, these ideas laid the foundation for technologies we rely on today. 1. The photoelectric effect. Einstein demonstrated that light behaves not only as a wave but also as particles, called quanta, or photons. This discovery laid the groundwork for quantum mechanics and was crucial for the development of technologies such as solar panels and digital cameras. For this work, Einstein was awarded the Nobel Prize in Physics in 1921. 2. Brownian motion. By explaining how tiny particles suspended in a liquid move seemingly at random due to collisions with invisible molecules, Einstein provided conclusive evidence of the existence of atoms. This discovery revolutionized chemistry and particle physics, paving the way for advancements in nanoscience and biotechnology. Third, special theory of relativity. This paper challenged traditional notions of time and space, arguing that both are relative to the observer. It introduced the idea that the speed of light is constant in any inertial reference frame. This concept not only transformed theoretical physics, but is also fundamental to modern technologies like GPS, which relies on precise calculations based on this theory. Fourth, theory of relativity. As part of his special theory of relativity, Einstein formulated his iconic equation, E equals mc squared, which shows that energy and mass are equivalent. This equation was crucial to the development of nuclear energy, as it helped to understand the enormous amount of energy released in processes such as nuclear fission and fusion. It also plays a key role in astrophysics, explaining the source of energy in stars and supernovae. In a single year, Einstein not only changed physics, but also revolutionized how we view the universe. Although these papers emerged quickly, they were not the product of sudden inspiration. They were the result of years of reflection, questioning, and a unique ability to think beyond conventional boundaries. Einstein didn't have access to labs or sophisticated resources. All he had was a restless mind, a moral compass to uncover truth, and unwavering tenacity. Initially, many scientists greeted his ideas with skepticism. His concepts were radical and challenged centuries of established theories. However, over time, each of these papers found experimental validation, solidifying Einstein's role as a key figure in the scientific revolution of the 20th century. This chapter of his life reveals not only his brilliance, but also his ability to see the extraordinary in the everyday. Einstein showed that great advancements don't always require exceptional resources, just bold imagination and a willingness to challenge the status quo. 1905 marked a turning point in the history of physics, but for Einstein, it was only the beginning. What happens when a genius doesn't just challenge but redefines the laws of the universe? And most importantly, how does one face the inevitable criticism that comes with such radical change? By 1905, Albert Einstein had shaken the foundations of modern physics, but his theories were not immediately embraced. Many provoked ridicule and skepticism within the scientific community. Einstein faced the challenge of proving that his revolutionary ideas were not only correct, but essential to understanding the universe. One of the most pivotal moments in his career came with the publication of his general theory of relativity in 1915. This monumental breakthrough not only challenged the Newtonian laws that had governed physics for centuries, but introduced a radical concept. Gravity was not a force, but a curvature of space-time caused by mass. To many, this idea seemed like fantasy. A striking example of this concept in action can be seen in the movie Interstellar. In the scene set on Miller's planet, which orbits dangerously close to a supermassive black hole, time dilation is dramatically depicted. Due to the immense gravitational pull, 1 hour on the planet equals 7 years on Earth. This mind-bending phenomenon, predicted by Einstein's equations, is a real consequence of extreme gravity warping both space and time. Skepticism peaked until, in 1919, British astronomer Sir Arthur Eddington led an expedition to test one of Einstein's predictions. During a total solar eclipse, Eddington measured the apparent positions of stars near the Sun, showing that their light bent as it passed through its gravity, just as Einstein had predicted. The results were astounding. The measurements confirmed general relativity. This moment not only solidified Einstein as a central figure in science, but also catapulted him to global fame. The press described him as a genius and a revolutionary thinker. The validation of his theory brought Einstein a level of fame he had not anticipated. His image appeared in newspapers worldwide, and his name became synonymous with brilliance. But fame also brought new challenges. His ideas were politicized, especially in a world reeling from the aftermath of World War I and growing racial and political tensions. In Germany, Einstein became a target for attacks due to his Jewish heritage and the disruptive nature of his theories. He received death threats and was the subject of smear campaigns. Yet, even amid such adversity, he remained composed and resolute. As he famously said, "If the theory doesn't match the facts, change the facts." The success of the 1919 eclipse and the confirmation of his theory validated not just Einstein's scientific work, but also his perseverance. He didn't allow skepticism or criticism to deter him. His story reminds us that innovative ideas often face resistance, but with determination and evidence, they can change the course of history. The world had finally seen what Einstein saw, a new way to understand the cosmos. But the true impact of his triumph ran even deeper. How did Einstein use his newfound fame to tackle not just ignorance, but also the social and cultural divisions of his time? The 1930s brought one of the greatest personal and professional challenges for Albert Einstein. With the rise of Nazism in Germany, Einstein, a prominent Jewish intellectual and outspoken critic of the regime, became a clear target. The persecution of Jews and the suppression of intellectual freedom not only endangered his safety, but also his commitment to free thought and the pursuit of truth. In 1933, Einstein made the difficult decision to leave Germany, resigning from his position at the Prussian Academy of Sciences. It was a heartbreaking but necessary choice. Along with his family, he emigrated to the United States, where he accepted a position at the Institute for Advanced Study in Princeton, New Jersey. This move marked the end of his life in Europe and the beginning of an entirely new chapter. Einstein, who once walked the halls of Germany's most prestigious universities, now had to rebuild his life in a completely different environment. However, his adaptable spirit and ability to find purpose in adversity helped him move forward. In Princeton, Einstein continued his work in theoretical physics, but also expanded his focus to social and humanitarian issues. While collaborating with other brilliant scientists like Kurt Gödel and John von Neumann, Einstein began publicly advocating for global causes, from nuclear disarmament to refugee support. He deeply believed that science should serve humanity, not destroy it. During this stage, Einstein also demonstrated acts of personal kindness. He wrote countless recommendation letters for academics persecuted by the Nazis, helping them find refuge and work abroad. His home in Princeton became a space where scientific discussions coexisted with conversations about justice and ethics. Exile could have meant the end of his career or his motivation, but Einstein transformed it into an opportunity to redouble his impact. With every new connection, publication, and speech, he made it clear that science knows no borders and that adversity can be a catalyst for meaningful change. This chapter shows how Einstein faced one of the most challenging tests of his life with courage and pragmatism. Despite losing his home and homeland, he found a new purpose and continued to pursue his dream of a better world, both in science and society. With the global recognition of his theory of relativity and its experimental confirmation in 1919, Albert Einstein became an international icon. His name no longer remained confined to scientific circles, but resonated across the world as a synonym for genius. However, Einstein did not limit himself to science. He used his voice and position to address some of the most pressing issues of his time. Einstein's fame transcended physics. His speeches, essays, and interviews inspired millions. His unmistakable wild hair and carefree attitude made him an endearing and accessible figure, amplifying his impact in areas beyond science. Einstein was invited to conferences and universities around the world, where he spoke not only about physics, but also about philosophy, ethics, and the role of education in shaping a more just society. He firmly believed that knowledge should serve humanity and that scientific progress should be guided by moral values. During World War II, Einstein co-signed a letter to President Franklin D. Roosevelt, warning about the possibility of Germany developing nuclear weapons. This document, known as the Einstein-Szilard Letter, played a crucial role in initiating the Manhattan Project, which eventually developed the atomic bomb. However, Einstein deeply regretted the consequences of this advancement. After the bombings of Hiroshima and Nagasaki, he became a vocal advocate for nuclear disarmament and international cooperation. In his own words, "The world is a dangerous place not because of those who do evil, but because of those who look on and do nothing." From that moment on, Einstein dedicated much of his time to advocating for peace and the ethical use of science. Einstein showed that leadership is not just about achieving personal achievements, but about using them to transform the world. From science to peace and civil rights, his legacy reminds us that true greatness lies in the impact we leave on others. Regardless of our specialty or position, we can all contribute to a more just and caring future. On April 18, 1955, Albert Einstein took his last breath, but his spirit, ideas, and contributions continue to profoundly influence humanity. His legacy extends far beyond the equations that revolutionized physics. It is a testament to the power of curiosity, creativity, and commitment to a higher purpose. Einstein not only transformed modern physics, he inspired generations of scientists, dreamers, and innovators. From the first steps in space exploration to the development of technologies like solar panels and GPS, his theories became the foundation for exploring new frontiers of knowledge. But Einstein's influence extended beyond scientists. His ability to question the status quo and continuously seek truth resonated with leaders, artists, and visionaries worldwide. His famous statement, "Imagination is more important than knowledge," remains a guiding principle for those who aim to push the boundaries of possibility. His legacy continues to shape the future. Today, advances in artificial intelligence, quantum physics, and space exploration echo his discoveries. From research on black holes to interplanetary mission designs, Einstein remains a compass for those daring to explore the unknown. But beyond science, his way of thinking serves as a reminder that knowledge alone is not enough. It is the courage to question, to imagine, and to challenge limits that truly drives progress. Albert Einstein was more than a brilliant scientist. He was an unrelenting explorer of life, someone who defied norms and turned adversity into a wellspring of creativity. His experiences offer lessons that transcend science, illuminating paths to transform our way of thinking and acting. Today, we share the 9 most impactful lessons from his life, along with practical steps to apply them to your journey. And if you stay until the end, you might get one as a gift. 1. Question everything. The power of curiosity. From a young age, Einstein asked why about everything he saw. This curiosity led him to discover truths no one had imagined. Application. Cultivate the habit of questioning the everyday. Why do you do things a certain way? Could they be done better? Exercise. Choose a routine task and analyze how you could improve or make it more efficient. Ask yourself, what if I did it differently? 2. Persevere through criticism. Einstein faced ridicule and skepticism when he presented his theories, but he never let that stop him. Application. Use criticism as an opportunity to reflect and improve, but don't let it paralyze you. Exercise. Think about a recent criticism you've received. Write down what you learned from it and how you'll use it to grow. 3. Combine discipline with imagination. Einstein said, imagination is more important than knowledge. But his genius wasn't just creative, it was backed by deep discipline. Application. Ideas alone aren't enough. They need to be developed through constant effort. Exercise. Dedicate 30 minutes daily to a creative project. Set small goals and stick to them, no matter the obstacles. 4. Embrace failures as part of the process. From failing exams to being rejected by academia, Einstein never let failures define his path. Application. Reframe your perception of failure. Every mistake is a step toward success. Reflective exercise. Make a list of your recent failures and write down a lesson you've learned from each. 5. Leverage quiet moments to innovate. Einstein's time at the patent office was crucial for developing his ideas. Sometimes the quietest moments are the most productive. Application. Find a space to reflect and develop ideas without distractions. Exercise. Block out a weekly time slot with no social media or interruptions, dedicated solely to thinking and planning. 6. Align your work with a greater purpose. Einstein saw science as a means to improve humanity, not just to accumulate knowledge. Application. Find a purpose that transcends your individual goals. How can your skills benefit others? Practical exercise. Write a personal mission statement. What impact do you want to have on your community or the world? 7. Collaborate with diverse minds. Einstein surrounded himself with brilliant people who challenged and inspired him. He understood that knowledge grows through collaboration. Application. Build your own circle of influence by connecting with people whose experiences and skills complement your strengths. Recommended action. Identify 3 people in your field whom you admire and work on genuinely connecting with them. 8. Balance passion with rest. Although Einstein dedicated long hours to science, he also loved playing the violin and taking walks, activities that rejuvenated him. Application. Find a balance between work and rest. Burnout kills creativity. Exercise. Identify one activity that relaxes you and add it to your weekly routine. Dedicate time to it without guilt. 9. Think about the legacy you want to leave. Einstein didn't just change physics. His commitment to peace, education, and social justice continues to inspire the world. Application. Define how you want to be remembered and make decisions that reflect that legacy. Deep reflection. Ask yourself, if my life ended today, what mark would I have left? Then, write down 3 concrete actions to work on your legacy. Final lesson. Life is a constant mystery. Einstein taught us that to live is to explore the unknown with wonder and purpose. The question isn't whether you have the potential to change the world. It's whether you're willing to take the necessary steps to do so. Application. Each day, look for one new thing to learn or a way to make a difference. Make growth a daily habit. Einstein reminds us that you don't have to be a genius to make a difference. All you need is curiosity, perseverance, and a commitment to a greater purpose. Now the question is, which lesson from his life inspires you the most, and how will you apply it? Albert Einstein's life is an eternal testament to the power of curiosity, perseverance, and purpose. He taught us that, even when the path is full of challenges, true genius lies in never giving up, in continuing to explore, and in leaving a legacy that inspires future generations. With his untamed hair and relaxed demeanor, Einstein became a cultural icon transcending science. He represents the essence of both genius and humility. The scientist who could joke about his lack of socks while unraveling the mysteries of the universe captured the imagination of the world. Einstein's face adorns t-shirts, murals, and inspiring quotes that encourage people to dream bigger. Beyond pop culture, his philosophical approach to life continues to resonate deeply. But this isn't just his story. It could be yours too. What obstacles are you facing right now that could become catalysts for your growth? What dreams have you put on hold because they seem impossible? Einstein didn't let criticism or failure define his destiny, and neither should you. This is your moment to turn those questions and doubts into the driving force behind your next big idea. Do stories like this inspire you? Then you won't want to miss Elon Musk's journey, a man who also defied the impossible. From his fight to build rockets from scratch to revolutionizing energy and transportation, his story is a roadmap for those who dare to dream big. How did he overcome his challenges, and what can you learn from him? Click now to find out. Subscribe to True Impact Makers to keep discovering stories like this, and join our community of dreamers and changemakers. Share this video with someone who needs a reminder that greatness is within reach for those who dare to imagine. Remember, your curiosity can open doors you didn't even know existed. Now, go out there and make the world feel your impact. See you in the next video.